So, we all know Jesus was one of history's most famous teachers, right? But have you ever stopped and really thought about how kind of strange his teaching style was? He didn't use textbooks or whiteboards. He told stories. And in this explainer, we're going to uncover the secrets behind his incredible method.
I mean, really think about it for a second. People would come up and ask him these huge, super important questions about God and life, and his answer would be a story about a farmer, or a seed, or a lost sheep. It seems like a pretty weird way to answer a direct question, doesn't it? Well, as we're about to find out, it was an absolutely brilliant strategy. You know, his main tools were these special stories called parables, plus really simple things from everyday life, like flowers, birds, even bread. So let's be detectives for a little bit. We're going to hunt for clues to crack the case of why he taught this way. You ready? Our first clue is coming right up.
All right, so our first clue is all about making the impossible, well, possible to understand. Jesus had to explain these huge heavenly ideas to regular people, people living everyday lives. So how on earth did he do it?
Think about it like this. Imagine you had to explain the internet to someone from 200 years ago. You couldn't just start talking about code and Wi-Fi, right? They'd have no clue what you were talking about. You'd have to say something like, it's kind of like a magical library that fits in your hand, or it's like a messenger who can deliver a letter anywhere in the world in 1 second. You have to use what they know to explain what they don't. And that's precisely what Jesus did.
He basically built a bridge between two worlds. He took something everybody understood, like a farmer planting a tiny little seed, and used it to explain a massive, invisible idea, like how just a tiny bit of faith can grow into something huge and powerful. He used the things you could literally see and touch to explain the things you could only feel in your heart.
And that's what a parable is. It's not just some cute story, it's a tool. It's like a secret decoder ring that takes a really complex, spiritual truth and turns it into a picture you can actually see in your mind. This made his message understandable to everyone, from fishermen to kids.
Okay, so the stories made big ideas simple. Got it. But that's not the whole secret. Our second clue reveals that these simple stories were also hiding something, a secret meaning that not everyone was meant to find right away.
This is actually a really fun way to think about it. On the surface, you've got a simple story. That's level 1. But for those who were really listening, the people who were truly curious, there were secret levels of meaning to unlock. You had to have that desire to understand to get to the next level.
And Jesus actually explained this himself. He basically said that some people could see the story and hear the words, but they wouldn't really get it. And it wasn't because the stories were too hard, it was because their hearts just weren't open to the deeper meaning. The truth was right there, like a key, but they weren't willing to use it to unlock the message. And this just shows the genius of his method. For those with honest, curious hearts, a parable made them stop and ask, wait a minute, what does that really mean? It got them thinking. But for people who just weren't interested, well, it just went in one ear and out the other. It was a really smart way of separating the curious from the casual listener.
Now for our third clue. And this one shows just how incredibly smart this teaching method really was. See, Jesus wasn't just teaching to friendly crowds. He had enemies, and they were watching his every move.
Just imagine being a teacher, where there were spies in your class every single day, just waiting for you to say one wrong thing so they can get you in trouble. That's pretty much what it was like for Jesus. These powerful religious and political leaders were constantly following him around, just hoping to catch him saying something they could use to arrest him.
This is where the stories get so clever. Parables became a way to hide the truth in plain sight. He could call out powerful people for being greedy or unfair just by telling a story about, say, a selfish rich man. His enemies knew exactly who he was talking about, but what could they do? You can't arrest someone for telling a story.
So his parables became a kind of shield. It meant he could keep teaching these powerful, world-changing truths, and his enemies couldn't touch him. It was a totally brilliant and brave strategy that kept the message alive and spreading.
And now we get to the final reveal, the biggest reason of all. This wasn't just about telling stories, it was about changing how we see the entire world.
This is one of his most famous lessons ever, and he didn't even use a story. He used something even simpler, a flower. He just pointed to a lily and told people to really look at it. He pointed out that this simple, beautiful flower was more wonderfully dressed than the richest king who ever lived.
And bam! Right there is the powerful message. He was saying, hey, don't worry so much.
If God puts that much beauty and care into a flower that's just here today and gone tomorrow, just think about how much more He must care about you. He used nature itself to teach a lesson about trust.
And this right here, this is the biggest secret of all. The reason He taught using nature and everyday objects was to show us that lessons from God aren't just found in a special building or in some ancient book. No, He was showing us that they are everywhere, all the time. The entire world is one big classroom. He connected huge spiritual truths to the simple things that people saw every single day. So all of a sudden, the mountains, the lakes, the fields, even something like doing your chores could become a reminder of a really powerful lesson. He turned the whole world into a living storybook. So really, the whole point was to get us to see God's wisdom not as some far-off, abstract thing, but as something that's woven into the very fabric of our world. He wanted to link our normal, daily lives with the mind of our Creator.
And that's the real magic of His method. He didn't just give us lessons, He gave us a new set of eyes to see the world. So look around. Your pet, that plant on your windowsill, the sun rising in the morning. What's something you see every day that could be its own secret story, just waiting to teach you something amazing?